Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Greetings, it is I, ToxKit, contacting you with some little bit of a revisit on the Locust. Right now I'm running my Locust 3S. It has, I think at this time it had 2 SRM2s, 1 SRM4, 2 tons of ammo. I usually ran out of ammo with this one, so I decided to go back to the 4 SRM2s and 3 tons ammo. It's a little hard to really get it to work and balance out right because, well, I either died with a lot of ammo or I ran out of ammo. There wasn't a lot of middle ground. And the Locusts aren't very forgiving. I mean, you make an error, things don't work quite right for you, you're kind of gone pretty quick. In this match, I was basically just flanking out, seeing if I could find some stragglers and pick a few things off, spot some targets for the others. Quick rundown of the 5 variations on the Locust. The first is the Locust 1V. I really haven't been able to figure out what to do with that one outside of just normal close-in maneuvering. With 4 ballistic, 1 energy, and 1 AMS, it's not flexible enough for me to really do much with. Of course, the big drawback is you just don't have the tonnage to do much with. Dropping the speed down as low as you dare would be about 135. Also, if you look at the engine weights and the everything, even in the XLs, you don't get a lot of savings going lower than that, and you become a lot more vulnerable. So I'd say about 135 is the slowest you want to go with it. Next is the Locust 3M with its 5 energy, 2 anti-missile systems, almost identical to the Locust 1E with its 6 energy and 1 anti-missile. So basically trading 1 anti-missile for an extra weapon. Even at 5 small lasers, I found it to be a little hot. Again, you just don't have the flexibility to really work into it with heat management and maneuvering. They're very, very limited mechs. Next is the Locust 3S, which is essentially the Locust 1M. The 1M comes with 2 LRM-5s, and it has 2 missile mounts, 2 energy mounts, and an anti-missile. It's just very limiting. There's not a lot of really nice general things I can say. They're across the board limiting. I have found 2 roles that I think they work pretty good in, and I'll go into those in a little bit. But I know somebody who swears that the Locust with LRM-5s on it is a great mech. I've never been able to get it to do much. I either can't carry enough arsenal to do anything with, to really make myself a menace to the enemy, or trying to flank around, I get spotted, running into another enemy patrol, all this different stuff. I'm just never able to really do it. Part of the problem is you're relying for a lot of your grinding with these public matches. You're not going to get the level of coordination that you really need to make a lot of these mechs work.
Target acquired.
So let's go back to the Locust 3M. Since the hard points are mainly in the arms for that one, and the 2 anti-missile systems, I'm doing some experimentation, and I'll go into those clips shortly, of it with a sniper role. You can try it with an ER PPC. I'm using an ER large laser. I've not swapped out all the parts and really tweaked it, but I'm just experimenting, just tinkering around with it, and I'm really liking it. Dropping the speed down to 135 would give you a little bit more tonnage to work with. If you can get both anti-missile systems in there, it would be a big help for this sniper role. Your high speed pretty much lets you go straight up the side of a cliff. I mean, you can climb places where most people wouldn't be able to, or have a hard time getting to, even with jump jets. Once you get in those positions, ER large laser allows you to do some nice tagging at range. And with them being in the arm and the way the Locust is designed, you can just peek just that arm up and expose very little to return fire. Still doing some tinkering, trying to see if I can get 2 ER large lasers in that thing, but Right now it just has a tag and a large laser. But the Locust 3S, that's the one I'm really having fun with right now. Well,
Base is
fun
being
when it works
captured.
out. I'll say this. Running the
Enemy base
Locust,
is being captured.
you either have a good match or a poor match. It's really hard to get something in between. The lighter you go, the more on the razor edge you are.
Base is being
And in my
captured.
opinion, below 35 tons really
Enemy base
puts
is
you
being
on
captured.
that dangerous edge. The Spider can get
Base
away with it with
25%
its jumping,
captured.
pretty agile.
Target acquired.
Of course, all the stuff with lag
Base
armor, I don't
is
know if they
being
fully
captured.
fixed that. Made that mech just a little broken,
Enemy
but that's
base
another
is
story.
being captured. Base
Getting back to
50%
the Locust,
captured.
the 1S enables you to really... 4 SRM2s are pretty devastating. They can do a lot of damage, fairly quick reload rate, and what you do is you hold back, wait for the opponent to engage, or the rest of your force, and then you run up and flank. While they're busy fighting some other big mech, you get around behind them and just start unloading SRMs right into their back, and it tears them up very quickly. You can do a lot of damage. But I'll show you a few things the 3S can do here. So whenever you're running a light mech in general, it's a matter of engage, disengage, stay with some support, etc. I love it when the opponent tries to hide right in the middle of the thing there, and of course my friendly here doesn't even know he's there. Somehow the blinking light on the border didn't tip him off. At any rate, so he tries to disengage, give him a little bit of leeway as I try to get a little bit more capture points for the resource. Because he's targeted, he's got a bunch of LRMs coming in on him as well. With the Locust, you're fast, but that's about all it has. It's so little flexibility, because if you try to go with less speed, you're just creating yourself more vulnerable, and you really don't free up enough tonnage to actually work with. So you're really limited into just a handful of rolls. Some of these you'll notice the audio will cut in and out simply because I didn't. Basically, I forgot to reset my audio settings when I was recording it with something else. Or if I was running with some friends and using the voice interface, what it does is disables the other one, so I have to reset some stuff. If you care. And sometimes I forget to reset those. I just totter along behind them, just start blowing them to pieces. As long as you don't get swamped in a very heavy engaged area, you can do a lot of damage. You can just tear up enemy forces. The tricky part with SRMs that I really shy away from them is you have to lead the target. They're basically the shotgun, a nice spread, but you have to lead the target enough so they kind of run into it. So you really can't use them with direct fire like autocannons, or LRMs, and lasers, things like that, because, well, obviously you wouldn't be able to use them with LRMs. Anyway, it just, you have to have them on a different circuit, and I just have a hard time keeping track of jumping around. Just from a coordination standpoint, it's easier for me to have them all on one circuit. I have one for short range, one for long. And this one, trying to switch between lasers and then get back over the SRMs. But if you get another light to support you and work with, or you're working with some heavies that will be a distraction, you can do a lot of damage. Here I've gotten around behind the enemy force, they're focused on other targets, things are intermingling. It's actually just out of range. I just realized, oh, bummer. All those shots wasted. Alright, fine. I'll circle around and engage. There's that red radical. There, he's taking damage. A lot of times I don't even realize where the shots are coming from. Or they're just so distracted in their own battle. But this is really where this mech excels. Just circle around, start intermingling, firing like crazy. You have to be good with your reflexes as far as quickly responding and identifying targets. Sometimes I do get a little trigger happy or excited and fire on a big melee where everyone's maneuvering around. See a mech and I'll start chasing and firing and I realize, oh wait, that's a friendly. Next target. It's easy to do. And I'm about to run out of ammo in this run.
Ammo depleted.
So with that, about the only thing I could do is try to go cap or distract, which is usually what I do, is be more of a distraction because the defensive turrets now really impede capping. Here I'm just being a big nuisance and distraction. Try to throw some advantage back to our side.
Warning incoming.
If you ever put tandem charge munitions in this game, SRMs or autocannons will become far more devastating. The Atlas up there just blasting away at him. He thinks he's taking another fire, so he starts backing away, actually towards me, keeps his back exposed. Watch the damage thing. Read out, he turns out, hey, who's there? I gotta go. Run over and play with his friends. With all of these runs, I swung way on the border, out in the open area, or I went through the cave. I swing wide, avoid detection, and come up behind them, start hitting them. And because for the most part in this game, they ignore the flanks. Or I've actually run into players that think the flanking maneuver is just running out to the edge of the battle, you know, where the group is, but you're not really disengaging, getting around behind them, you're just getting around on the edge.
No target acquired.
Maybe for a slower mech that's not able to do the big swing around that I do. Here I am teamed up with another fast mech. Probably a big bet which one's going to happen. Is he going to be destroyed first, or am I going to shut down first? Because I'm just full out, full of fire. Let my heat climb. Just as I'm about to shut down, he's turning around on me, and I survive. I'm just following him, letting him pick the next target because I think I like him as a friend. Team up. Fast mechs are always more effective in groups. Mechs in general really are always more effective in groups. I mean, you get a group of assault mechs rolling along together, they're far more powerful. Help cover each other's back. I didn't edit out this flank run just because I thought it'd be a nice illustration. A couple other points come up here shortly there. Nice points to illustrate.
Target acquired.
Wondering, that's a Shadow Hawk. Oh, the Phoenix mechs. This is actually where I got my the achievement called, where you kill a Phoenix mech and a non-Phoenix mech. The way to defeat the jump jet armor is when you're jump jetting, they're pretty much committed to a path, and just line up your shot, save your ammo, and as soon as they touch down, release.
Center torso.
Can't jump forever.
Critical damage.
Kind of set this all up for a little bit of an easier target. Here I'm trying to flank around, harass some of the other guys. See what I can do. Catapult. Suffer a little. Yeah. Locusts, they die quick. It's something you gotta get used to running these mechs. Here I am harassing an Atlas. One of my favorite pastimes. When I'm not running an Atlas, I like harassing Atlases. Here I'm basically by myself. I thought it was just him and I. But shortly another mech came up that I didn't notice. I was just taking some damage. I wasn't sure if it was other shots coming in from him or somebody else at a distance. I disengaged. I turned around. Often they will think that you left and they'll just instantly go back on to their other target, just climbing up the side of the cliff. And so I realized the other mech there, he had me lined up, and I just took the hit, fell down. And I died. Which is pretty common incident when you're running a Locust. You really don't have enough armor to do anything. Another Atlas, sitting up there, fire support. Alright, no problem. I can disengage. I'll run around, go over here. Bam. I do not know what they hit me with, but it killed me real quick. I almost wonder if another player didn't line me up for like a double hit of gauge rifle or something. So I was disengaging. And here I get legged and died pretty quick as well. All these missiles coming in on me. And that's what you really have to be used to, is dying a lot. When you're running Locust, this mech I think is probably one of the more effective, but it is a role you either do well or you die horribly. And this one there is no audio for, because I was running the voice interface, and I was running with a full lance. So I was the scout of the group, running my mighty mini Splat, inspired by the Splat cat. Peek up a little, see if there's enemy around, give everyone else time to move up, because obviously I was the fastest one in the group. Everyone else was in their 60s or so. I was essentially 3 times faster than them. Then I just tear into this mad cat, or Timberwolf, whatever you want to call it. I'm Intersphere scum, remember? Free birth. The way it's supposed to be. So I call them by their proper names. It's a Dashi, it's a Vulture, it's a Ryokan. Trust me on this. This battle in here really did the full battle, because this really illustrated just how brutally effective this this Locust can be. I was taking a little bit of damage there. Didn't really mean to go toe to toe with him. Thought he was going to be distracted with some other players. I run around, hit him from the back. This would have been an epic win if the rest of the team had done anything. Literally anything. My lance that I was with, we did all the killing of the entire team. Damage was almost non-existent of the other players. I don't know what was going on, what they were doing, what happened, but it was an absolute failed team when you look at the stats. We went in and went around this flank, because the flanks are almost always open, and just tore into them. But at this point, basically the rest of the team was gone, and they all started focusing on us. So I'm running around, trying to be a diversion and distraction, do as much damage as I can. Thinking these clan mechs really aren't that tough. I don't know what everyone's talking about. And at the ending stats, you'll see I did over 350 damage with this Locust. This Mad Cat has lost an arm, lost leg, now he's down. And running around looking for another target. There's a nice little Ryokan. I'll play with this Stalker. And I'll play with this guy. And oh wait, that's right, I'm out of ammo. That's always fun. Not much you can do at that point but be a diversion. Which I was doing pretty well, actually. Swing around, try to get them to fire at me instead of our friends, and I'm down. And shortly thereafter that, everyone else goes down. But that's 360 some damage. On this defeat, I probably got more points than I think I ever did on a win with this mech. It was just catastrophic. Yeah, if the rest of the team had done decently, this would have been an epic win. Oh well. Don't know if the others were having some other problems, difficulties. I've had situations where I just didn't do well in a match, and it wasn't because any number of things. But it happens. Three kill assists, 3 component damage, 367 damage, 1 spotting assist, 1,310 XP. Well, at least that'll give you guys an idea as to how brutal this little mini Splat, as I call it, in honor of the Splatacat, which is the catapult running all SRMs, can be. You're certainly fragile, that's for sure.